How much is it worth? How much is having a Emmy nomination worth? Well, I can tell you this. I can tell you that long before the wedding happened, there was a plot. There was a plot to somehow get to this point in time, to get to the high life and to get a nomination for that coveted Hollywood award. I can tell you this, the ground was set to the moment that we are seeing now. And if you look close enough, you'll see that getting to this moment where we are now with this Emmy nomination, whether it be whoever was in that interview, those three people, I can tell you this, that the ground was set for this moment long before Harry and Meghan ever got married. Hello YouTubers, welcome to my channel. I hope you are doing fabulous today. It has been one of those days and we can see a lot's going on. So much so that I can't even get it out my head quick enough to think about before the next story comes out. It's really that crazy. But you know, my opinion, it's all a part of the narrative and it is really starting to come together. And this is a real big turning point right now, a really big turning point. Now, we know that going back to the very beginning when the wedding happened, there was this whole thing around Oprah Winfrey coming to the wedding. Harry and his wife don't really know Oprah, but you know, they invite her to the wedding. And there's these discussions about an interview. Well, like I've said before, why are there discussions in the very beginning when they're getting married? And this is supposed to be, hey, we're married, we're going to be royals and life's great. What's the purpose of an interview? What's the purpose of trying to establish a relationship with someone like Oprah in the very beginning so that a story that you want to come out about perhaps your life now as a royal, something good? But I think this was all a part of the plan from the very beginning. It had to be. Because remember when, and I've mentioned this before, I'm just kind of recapping a little bit right here, but remember when in the Oprah Winfrey interview, they talked about, you know, Meghan was like, it's not a good time to talk, you know, it's just too soon. I'm thinking, well, why was it too soon? Why was it too soon? Because you are essentially in a happy marriage doing something that you want to do. You agreed to marry this man who has this history, this royal life, and you're going to now be a part of his royal life. So there was nothing really salacious to talk about, but yet there were already talks about an interview at the very beginning of the marriage. So we can see that something was being planned to really be controversial in the beginning. It wasn't like they had time to get married, to see what life is like as a royal, start helping the communities there in the UK. Like, there was always planned from the very beginning for this to happen. And we know Meghan was constantly turned down from the royal family about things that she could not do. She felt like she didn't have her voice. That's why she made that comparison between herself and that mermaid in that movie Ariel, or whatever it was called, the Little Mermaid, because she loses her voice, blah, blah, blah. So she made that comparison because in the very beginning, she wanted to always be able to come out and speak about the things that she wanted to do. But she was told that she could not do that. Now, you would think she would go along with that because, you know, you are in a marriage. You are in a family that has a high profile. You guys get it, right? And it's no different from the relationships that we have today with our own loved ones or our own spouses. You make compromises. There are just things that, you know, you can do as a married couple. Perhaps you want to do something, your spouse doesn't, you compromise. It was no different. She was in a marriage where she had to compromise certain things. She had to be able to go along with the narrative of this royal family because that's what she signed up for. That's what she signed up for. Now, that's very key. Because if you look at the narrative now, it's, I didn't have a voice. Whatever I wanted to do, I couldn't do. I just can't do anything. They won't let me do anything. I just can't do it. Let me do what I want to do. And she could not accept it. And in contrast now, it looks like, oh, well, those royals, they won't let her do what she wants to do. Well, good for you. Leave. Leave those royals, man. They're not letting you do what you want to do. I know I'd leave too. No, But now what we're seeing is someone who constantly wants to do what they want to do. I'm doing what I want to do. I don't want to hear what you got to say. And if you're not going to let me do what I want to do, you are not letting me have my voice. And it's my voice. I want to do what I want to do. So from the very beginning, we can see she was not about even compromising. From the very beginning, because she knew she was going to start turning over the tables. And she had Miss Winfrey on the sidelines waiting until she turned over so many tables. And by the end of the field goal, she was ready for her last turning of the table. She was out of there, and now she's ready for the interview. But the narrative has always been, they're the bad guys. But we're never looking at, well, what did she do to contribute to this whole Megxit, leaving the royal family? Did she ever want to compromise her position to do the things that she knew she needed to do before she married the man? No. The agenda was set before she married the man. And this is what has to be understood by those that don't understand why so much disdain people have for this woman. Why do people not like this woman? They have to understand that she never wanted to compromise in this marriage. She wanted from the very beginning to have her voice plopped into this royal family so that they would sell her off higher and higher into her stardom. It was all about getting that celebrity and stardom within this royal family, saying, I don't want to do what y'all want me to do. I'm going to marry this man. I'm going to do what I want to do. And that's just what it's going to be. Okay? That's what it's going to be. And off we go. That was it. And so now what we see happening with the most recent news is the Emmy coming out for the interview. And just most recently, they've announced a deal with, well, they've announced one of the projects, another project that they're going to be doing for their Netflix deal, which is a girls animated series called Pearl. Okay? There's so much to unpack here. There's just so much to unpack. Because it's like I'm looking at so hi, Mr. Otis. It's like clockwork, isn't it? So if we really try, Otis, stop. If we really want to look at this for what it really is, we really have to look at, well, how did this all get started? To really know the truth. To know the truth. Because when you marry your husband, you marrying into the family, right? So what do we have now? We have an Emmy nomination for an interview. An interview. So this interview, mind you, was garnered up some attention. People really took notice to it. Why? Well, because of the things that were said. The explosive allegations that were made during this interview what really made it salacious and what really made it juicy and enticing for people to want to pay attention to it. And we know this whole Emmy thing, this Hollywood thing, is very much her MO. We know this is something that she really wants. Now, remember what I said. This was planned from the very beginning. Now, this article that I'm reading from is going to talk about this Emmy. And I'm going to, put some of my comments in there too. The couple's explosive chat has been nominated for a top gong after they made a string of bombshell claims about Harry's family. And I find it very ironic that you can essentially go in front of a camera with a famous interviewer and make up a bunch of lies about a family to increase your profile, like say something really crazy and bad and gets people talking so that, people paying attention to you because, you want to be celebrity, right? You got to say something crazy to get people to pay attention to you. And you can also get nominated for an Emmy for doing it. Tell lies. Now, keep in mind, the whole goal with this woman is to be a humanitarian and to help people to do the better good of the world. That's essentially what she wants to do while being a celebrity at the same time, right? But we gonna do this. It don't make sense, does it? Okay, so let's keep going. Now, during the interview, they alleged a senior royal had made racist comments about their son Archie's skin color, while Meghan had claimed Kate made her cry over bridesmaids' dresses. The commentator Phil Dampier said the Sussexes were encouraged to tell their truth rather than the truth. Okay, there's a difference. Your truth and the truth are not the same. They're not. So, he told Sun Online, I think it's farcical. And I'd have to agree. It's farcical. Can't believe it. It's just really, you gonna get a nomination for an Emmy for telling lies? Now, we know Harry and Meghan were allowed to spout a lot of complete untruths and unchecked facts in the interview, and Oprah Winfrey did nothing to query it. She really couldn't follow up on that getting married 3 days prior. She couldn't follow up on it. She was just like, oh, you did? Oh, okay. Right? We didn't want nothing to do with all the hoopla around us getting married. That was just for the people. We really had our own private ceremony. And Oprah was like, whoa, okay, that's nice. She didn't follow up on it. Nothing. Complete silence. Okay. As a journalistic exercise, I thought it was very, very poor. There were so many different things in this interview that later came out to be lies. And that alone should tell you, well, then why y'all getting nominated for an Emmy? Was this like a fiction? Was this supposed to be like made up stuff? Was this a dramatization? Was there a script involved? And y'all were just reading your lines? It might have been watched by millions and it got a lot of headlines, but it was clearly not journalism. It was not. So the 2-hour special aired in March, but months on, it seems likely it holds its place as the TV event of the year. Harry told Oprah he felt let down by his family and that he was barely speaking to his brother, describing their relationship now as space. So this is what I find interesting about all of this, is that we have a young lady who wants to be a celebrity. Her whole goal in life was to get to this place where she could be the celebrity that she's always wanted to be. That's no secret. But now she has it in a way that is really doing harm to other people. Her celebrity is coming at a price. And it's coming at the price of her husband, who is completely infatuated with this woman, who is wanting to give her everything that she wants. But that's dangerous for Harry, to give her everything that she wants. Because what happens when you can't give it to her? If your whole goal is to give her what she wants all the time, anytime, every day, and something happens and you can't deliver, then guess what? Harry becomes the fall guy. Harry becomes the one who is not succeeding in getting his wife what she wants, because that's his whole goal in life, essentially. And so far, she's getting the things that she wants, even at the cost of Harry's family, at the cost of the mental health of Harry's family, even though he wants to, hey, let's talk about mental health. Let's talk about it, y'all. I want everyone to speak about mental health. But while we're speaking about mental health, I'm helping my wife get her celebrity. And unfortunately, your mental health is going to have to suffer, because my wife, she needs her celebrity. So, yeah, we'll just say not this time. We're not going to pay attention to mental health this time when it comes to my family, because, got to give Meghan what she wants. She's my wife and makes me happy, and I just have to do it. And he claimed his father, Charles, stopped taking his calls after Megxit, and he was financially cut off by the royal family last year. Now, we know that to be a lie as well. The documents were released to show that he was not cut off. He was still getting money, and he told Oprah he wasn't. Now, it could have been true that his father stopped taking his calls. We don't know. But we know that when the father did take the calls, he blabbed the conversation to Gayle King, and she blasted it out to the rest of the world on her show with CBS. And wasn't the show for this interview on CBS? Gayle? Oh, the connections. Yeah, we plugging, we helping each other. Because this is a Hollywood affair. We all helping each other. This is a partnership. We a team player on this partnership, but not the family one, not the one we made our vows to, not the one we committed ourselves to, but this one, the Hollywood one. Okay. Now, but the most damaging allegation made about the couple related to claims a royal had discussed the color of Archie's skin before his birth. Meghan told Oprah the unnamed member of the family had raised concerns about what that would mean or look like. Now, we know this scenario is played out a lot of times in families every day. Those who are giving birth to children, well, what's the child going to look like? What's it going to look like? That's something you wonder. But the way it was delivered, the tone, Oprah's reaction made it salacious. It made it drama-filled, thus hyping up the talking of this couple and their relationships with their families. And it just really played into the whole narrative for the sake of this show. So we can see we're spouting lies. We are creating drama out of things that really are not anything surprising to say, because that was nothing surprising. But the way Oprah reacted, the way it was teased prior to the show, because that was one of the things we saw in the teaser, was Oprah's reaction. So it built up the hype. It's all a very nicely spun together public relations branding, essentially. And she's getting her celebrity, her stardom. That was the goal all along. Winfrey later clarified neither the Queen nor Prince Philip had made the comment. So that was something she had to clear up later, because it insinuated that it could have been the Queen that said that. But they didn't want it to look like they said it. So she kind of retracted and said, well, hold up, wait a minute. For the record, it wasn't the Queen or Prince Philip. Okay, let's keep it moving. We're going to talk about more things. Oh, but it could be this person. I mean, like, it could be a whole list of other people. So we still got, it's still, you know, lots going on still. The fallout from the chat continues on months later, with Harry and William reportedly barely speaking. Piers Morgan came out and said that there were 17 things in this interview that were not true. They were not true, and I'm doing a video on that because we're going to break it down. And there are some other things that have come out, and I've got a very great source for some more things that I'm going to be talking about. You don't want to miss it. You don't want to miss it. So Piers Morgan came out and said there's other things, and I'm not going to go over those because, like I said, I'm going to be doing a video on that. But I knew we were in trouble from the start when Oprah had asked the pair to tell them their truth rather than the truth. Right. And we know Oprah had asked them to speak to her, like I said, at the very beginning of this relationship. Because Oprah knew the deal. Oprah knew. She was like, oh, she invited me to the wedding? Oh, I know what this means. Yeah. She invited me to the wedding because it's going to go down. It's going to go down in the royal family. And she's kind of giving me that little wink. She was like, yeah, come to my wedding because guess what? You're going to get the interview. Wink, wink. Yeah, Oprah knew what was up. She ain't stupid. There is no reason why she is inviting Oprah to her wedding when she don't even know Oprah. And we know she didn't know Oprah because this has been reported. So don't say I'm making it up, okay? We know she did not have a relationship with Oprah Winfrey. But we do know that she had relationships with people that she grew up with. And this is the thing that I find I'm just going to take a little deviation. I'm a squirrel. I want to just like talk on the side about something else real quick right here because it just popped into my head. I just got to say it. Isn't that so ironic how in the interview when she was talking about her sister Samantha and her family, like, I don't know these people. Why would I talk to them? But you invite people to your wedding that you didn't know. What's the difference? You have more of a relationship with your mother's side of the family than you do with these celebrities. What? So you just gonna just skip out on the people that you actually had relationships with? Even if they were spending through time, like you saw them now at this time and then 10 years later you didn't see them, but then you saw them again 5 years later. Who cares? These are your family. You have not seen them in a while. Okay, but don't you think they're going to find out you get married to somebody in the royal family? Don't you think they're going to be like, well, where's my invitation? Where's Uncle Mike's invitation, the one that got you the internship? And it was an internship. She did not work for the embassy. Another lie that she told Rachel Ray. Oh, but she gonna be like telling Oprah, why contact somebody that you don't know, that you don't speak with? Well, girlfriend, you just invited a whole bunch of celebrities that you don't know to your wedding. And you ain't never met them until they showed up at your wedding. Okay, Squirrel's gone. I'm back now. So there were a number of claims that were just wrong, including that of a wedding ceremony 2 days before, which wasn't true at all. Oprah just didn't query any of it. Why is this nominated for an award when it has so many lies in it? Why? Why? It's like, for real? You are going to get an Emmy nomination for lies? You better put this in the fiction section and say this is fictional because it wasn't true. It tends to indicate it's simply the woke world in which we live. We've seen it with award ceremonies increasingly in recent years. It's become more about supporting political causes and less about integrity. Do you think you'll look at the Emmys the same? Do ya? I don't know. I don't understand how you can get nominated for something and tell lies and claim it's truth. And to get nominated for something that is essentially causing mental health problems for other people, your loved ones, mind you. Don't make sense. This is unprecedented. And this is what I want everyone to really understand. The bigger picture here is that this is meaningful in a way. How are they going to try to brand this girl now to the masses, to the rest of the world? You know, people talked about Princess Diana being this woman who did all these good things, but she was treading in some dangerous territories. They talked about how she was getting involved in things that she should not be getting involved in. And we know that when you have that much power, you have that much likability, you essentially can do things that can cross over into political things. Do you think that's what they might be trying to do with her? Trying to get her involved in things that eventually could lead to other things that could perhaps maybe someday affect your life? I don't know. I don't know. But I find it very interesting and very telling that you can get nominated for an Emmy on things that are not true. That's the article, and I couldn't agree more with this this journalist that it just makes no sense that here comes my sunshine. It's in my eyeballs. Okay, give me 1 second. Okay, that's better. Whew. Was blinding me. That sunshine. But to me, I find it very, it just shows you a lot that, you know, if they want to make this woman likable, they can make her likable on a lie. They can make her likable on things that are devious. Devious, y'all. They can paint a picture that make you believe one thing and it's really another. I get people talking to me all the time or making comments on my channel all the time about, well, why are you doing this to another sister girl? Why are you doing this? This is your sister girl. No, she ain't. No, she is not. And I don't care if it was my mama. If you doing wrong, you doing wrong. You gonna speak out on it. And I think that's especially when you should speak out. Because you got somebody representing who you are, being bad, just doing things that ain't right. And that's when you should speak out. So for all those that want to say things that I'm saying things against another sister girl, first of all, she ain't never claimed to be a sister girl. Okay, so let's get that straight. Okay, second, you have to speak out when people are doing things that are not right. Because at the end of the day, you cannot deny what this relationship, this woman's goal of seeking celebrity has done to her husband's family. She lied about wanting to be a team player, thus marrying into this royal family to do the work of the royals and to adhere to the things that she knew she had to do. She went into that on a lie. Okay? She went into this relationship on a pretense of increasing her celebrity. And at that cost, her celebrity has essentially caused horrible things to happen mentally to people within this royal family institution that they essentially wanted to give her a chance to be on their team. And she spit in their face and said, I don't want to be on your team. I want to be on my own team. I want to do my own things that look good, look like humanitarian work, and I want to do it my way. Forget y'all's team. Forget who y'all are. I don't care. I just want to be around y'all because people know y'all and they know if they see me with you, then that makes me more famous. So I'm going to play your game for a little bit, but then I'm going to break off into my own team with my husband, and my husband going to keep doing what? He's going to keep giving me what it is that I want. That's what it is, folks. You can't make it up. You cannot make it up. So pay attention. Pay attention, because what we are witnessing here is unprecedented. This, my friends, is history in the making, and we are going to follow it along and talk about it and see how this woman is doing things that we should all be going, like looking at her with the side eye because she wrong. She wrong. And you know she wrong. If you pay attention, you're going to be like, oh yeah, yeah, she wrong. She wrong. But some of y'all don't want to pay attention. Y'all looking the other way like, yep, go on girl, we like you. You black, we like you. And they looking the other way, not paying attention. And she over here branding, PR, all this stuff, getting built up. And you looking this way, cheering her on, not knowing what she doing. But you just like her because what? She black. Well, she think she black. It don't make sense. So one thing that I want you all to think about is this. As you look at the award ceremony, you look at the nominations, you can think about it as this. As an actor, you go about your career and your life essentially honing your craft, trying to become better and better at what it is that you do, so that just one day you might be able to win that coveted award such as an Emmy. And we know that Miss Markle doesn't have much talent as an actress already, and that's just a personal opinion. I'm not feeling like she's got the chops to really be that kind of an actor, but I think she had potential as she kept working on her craft, honing her skills as an actress. And we see that she has somewhat let that go, and she's trying her celebrity in another way. And this way, I would say, is a little bit less, I guess, noteworthy to do, because as she is continuing to try to make that big break for herself, or to continue climbing that ladder, so to speak, she has essentially had her husband and herself have disowned their families. They've gotten horrible relationships with the people that should matter to them the most. Rather, they have now embraced the people within an industry as their symbolic family, who can also help to propel them to new heights of making that kind of money that they need to live the lifestyle that they want to live. And as you see them walking in their grandeur of their Emmy Award nomination, or for Oprah's Emmy nomination, think about the sacrifice that they had to make to get that nomination, or that Oprah had to get that nomination. It was an interview that had many, many lies. Families have been destroyed. People have lost their jobs. There have been embarrassing things happening to the royal family. There have been things taken away from charities that could have had much more positive light focused on them. Rather, it was all sucked out of them to pay attention to superficial things. Brothers are not getting along, and it really is quite sad. But hey, if you got a nomination, you got the glory of the Hollywood glamorous life, just maybe you think you're winning. Just maybe you think you're winning.